bum bum da 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 bum bum da. Do you ever wake up and you just want to film a video? You just want to turn the camera on and you want to film something. I'm going to tell you, I haven't felt this way in a really long time. So this is officially going to be the intro to this week's reading vlog. I know what you're thinking. Christine, I haven't seen you around in a long time. I have been in a huge life slump, reading slump. They call me Slumper McSlumpington. And at this point, I have just been trying to find a will to read. I've woken up with a new lease on life. And I really, really, really want to read a specific book. This is the book. So this is The Prisoner's Throne. This is the second book or the conclusion in the duology of the Stolen Heir. I woke up today and I just wanted to literally be in this world. Like, I don't know if you guys ever do that. You just wake up and you want to be in a specific book world. It doesn't happen to me often, but today I woke up and I said, I will be reading this book. And it's obviously precious to me. Look at it. It's a special edition from Fairy Loot. Like, you are disgustingly beautiful. And I wish I put on makeup at this point because me beside you, it's not looking good. Like, literally look at him. He is beautiful. I vaguely remember what happened in the first book. I believe some shit went down. I think some shit went down, and I think a lot of people hated on that book, and I think I still liked it because, like, I consider The Cruel Prince to be what I would think is a cozy fantasy, because though, like, things happen in the plot, there's no, like, arch evil nemesis, okay? It's all contained in the world of fairy. And I'll die on that hill. We can fight about it. Let's talk about it. Honestly, if you guys don't agree, I'd love to talk to you. But yeah, so I haven't read this book and I really want to. So that's what I'm going to start off this vlog with. Will this be a books I should have already read vlog? Perhaps. Let's just see where the wind takes me. I'm going to mood read. I never thought I'd ever be a mood reader, but then, you know, suddenly I'm relating a lot to mood reading as life just happens. And you really have to be in the mood to do things. We're starting off with this book. I'm excited you guys are here, and I'm really excited to be vlogging again. I'm not exactly sure if anything interesting is going to be happening this week. I was literally trying to think if anything's happening this week. I don't know. Oh, Charlie XCX concert. Okay, we just went to Sweat, I guess is what we want to call it. So, pass the phone.
We sweat.
What was your favorite part? Mine was when she played I Don't Care, I Love It.
Really?
Well, yeah, because that's the song that made her famous.
Was it?
Fake fan.
I loved Guess or TikTok.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I feel like
I like when Kesha came out for sure.
That was
Kesha
so
came out,
iconic.
y'all. Insane.
That was iconic. Monique, what was yours? You didn't say.
Kesha. It's Kesha.
Oh, it was Kesha? It wasn't Troye Sivan?
I mean, Troy, duh.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something about Troy doing Rush or something.
Troy was dancing, okay? He was giving the motions. He was like,
so hot.
Oh,
he was
thank
touching.
you.
So hot.
Yeah, we were really in awe of his
I
face.
was like,
He literally was like...
I used to watch him on YouTube all the time.
No, yeah.
Like, all the time.
I didn't watch him on YouTube, like, I knew he came from YouTube, but, like, he was hot.
No, I watched him on
Alright,
YouTube
give
all
me
the
that.
time.
Any Hoosier. And that's a wrap on Brad. I didn't get really any footage, so this is what you guys get. Director's cut. Goodbye. If we're doing a traditional weekly vlog, okay, because today's Wednesday, the Charlie XCX concert will be within the week. We'll see, okay? We'll see. But yeah, it should be a fun vlog. I'm excited to be with you guys, and I hope you are ready for a little bit of fairy. Hey guys, okay, so essentially I forgot my vlogging camera. I feel like this always happens to me whenever I go on any trip. I just black out on what to pack, so please leave comments if you guys have like a packing list or some kind of way that you remember what you need to bring when you go on vacation, because I literally forget everything. It's so annoying. Anyway, forgot my vlogging camera, so we're here on the good old iPhone. As you can see, I've got jammies. Okay, because me and my parents just came up to Ventura. I don't know why everything I'm saying sounds like I got a question mark at the end of it. We're here, we just had dinner. We had some Italian food. It was really sweet and nice. But what I'm here to talk about is this book. I am finally reading Only and Forever, which is the last Bergman book, and I know that it has been such a long time since this has gone out, and I know that I should have already read this, but that's the whole point of this vlog, is that I'm reading books that I should have already read. So here I am giving you a check-in for this book. So essentially, what page am I on? I'm on page 100. Wow, exactly. Lucky number 100. So I'm on page 100. Essentially, the premise of this book is that these two are roommates. They kind of have like a rocky relationship at first because they met each other in college. They didn't really like each other. I think it's a classic tale of like, you know, the girl's closed off and the guy is all for it. Like, this is basic Chloe Lease, but this is the exact type of story that I need right now. Like, I also can't ever get enough of Chloe Lease. Like, I love her writing. I love the storylines, the plots, the characters, and the setting. Like, it's just good. This also has like a bookstore element to it, and a writer element to it. So I just think this is gonna be such a good time, and I'm already sucked into it. I'm already for the relationship. There's like a tiny jealousy trope, and I'm here for it. Right now, I'll keep you guys updated, but obviously I'm having a great time and cannot recommend this book enough. So I'm gonna get my jammies, I'm gonna wash my face, maybe I'll have a check-in, I don't know, but I probably will if something crazy is gonna happen, so I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Good morning, angels. Today we are going to be exploring Ventura together. That is the whole point of this trip, I guess. My parents have come into town because they just want to explore and they want to experience California and not Los Angeles, because they are not the biggest fans of Los Angeles. So today, hello and good morning. I don't even know if I said that. But today we are going to be driving around Ventura, exploring, or I have no idea, I've never been here. So this is all new to me. And I do know that we are gonna go to a couple of bookstores and kind of putz around. So it should be a very cool, chill day. I will have an update for the book and reading. I'm gonna be honest, I did a little bit of the B-roll, like getting ready for bed, and then literally read for like, I want to say 10 minutes and then conked out. So I'm hoping I can get a little bit more into the Bergman book today. So hopefully I'll have a little update for you. But yeah, enjoy this B-roll and I'll see you on the other side. Yeah. Okie dokie. Yes. It's a little low, I'll say it, but this is what we're doing because we don't have a tripod. I'm walking around Ventura in this white beater, really bringing the South to Ventura. Okay, so we basically just shopped and walked around and just saw things and said hey to people and ate food and drank. And I mean, I feel like that's vacation. I don't know. I haven't taken an actual vacation in a really long time, like where you actually just don't do anything. You just like sit and like enjoy a space. So I feel like this is what that could be. But I did do some shopping. You know, will we talk about books eventually? Yeah, we will. But first of all, I want to show you guys this. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen? It's a cleansing oil. I didn't even need a cleansing oil, but I saw this and it was under the Korean skincare in Ulta, and I said, I will be trying this tonight. I got a bunch of skincare products and stuff. I'm not gonna go through all that, but I did get some books today. Okay, Smitten. So first and foremost, Smitten is such a cute store. It's basically like, I don't know, it's like romance adjacent. It is not like the Rip Bodice in Culver City where it's like only romance, because they do have other things in this bookstore, but they have a lot of romance, and that's what's important. So I'm just gonna do a quick, I'm talking, I didn't mean to show you guys this one first. Hold on, we're coming back to that one. A quick book haul, okay? I've been seeing this one. I've been wanting to read it. Fan fiction, okay? Obviously, vampires. The girl is like in our day and age. She's obsessed with reading vampire books. She's a survivor of assault, okay? And then she ends up like falling in love with a vampire, okay? It seems like it's a good time. These are from a different bookstore, okay? The 4th book in my series. You know it. You know this is a banger, okay? Can't wait to get into this one. I had to support my girl. Before We Were Trans, this one I found today. Okay, I think this is gonna be a good one. Add to my collection on my LGBTQIA+ shelf. Sounded good, listen. And then all my friends have been telling me to read this one, okay? I have a friend who worked at this company. She said it looked really good, and it was really good after she read it. So I'm gonna believe her, and I'm gonna read this book. I don't know, it seems... it seems... Oh my God, I'm just reading vampire books, I'm realizing. What the hell is going on here? Anyway, those are all the books. Quickly, we've got these cute socks. Who do you think you are? Stunning. These? Stunning, okay? These pins. Literally, this is my life. Wait. Hard no, meh, and blah, blah, blah. Does that not literally sound like me? Come on, guys. If you know me, you know who I am. This one I could not pass up. This was in a tote and a t-shirt. Come on, that's literally me and Sherman. Hello? What the hell is going on? Okay. And, oh yeah. Smitten, it's giving Twilight, but not, okay? That's what it's giving. There. The other thing, I got this really cute bookmark. You are ridiculously cute. What's wrong with you? You are dangerously cute. I mean, please. The reason why I wanted this one to be last is because this was the book that I read for a Wattpad, okay? A Wattpad collab, not last year, but the year before that, in that December. This was the Wattpad book that I was telling you guys about, and now it is published, okay? I mean, by Wattpad Books, but it's published into like a printed novel. So when me and Moni did this collab, it was basically like when you used to be able to read webtoons for free, right? But you would have to like come back every day and like give them coins to be able to read. So I read this book with that app, and now coming full circle, it is printed by Wattpad Books in, you know, this form. And I kind of low-key want to read it again because I really liked it the first time. The premise is really fun. And I remember being addicted to this book, y'all. I was addicted to Bound by the Shadow Prince. Essentially, the plot is like these two people get locked in a tower, and it has to be for like 7 years or something like that. And they're basically like paying a price of something. I can't remember the exact details of why. Why do they have to be in the tower? I forgot. This was like years ago, okay? Is it? I don't know. Shut inside the tower with her is Nimith, an enemy warrior complete with wings and claws and fangs. He's terrifying and cruel and disturbingly magnetic. Yeah, I don't remember why they have to be in there. I don't know why they have to be in the tower, but they are. And the fun part is, like, as you can see from the cover, there are like no windows or anything in the tower. Like, literally it's just like a dark tower. And so like they have like these supplies that they can kind of share with each other or like steal from each other. I don't know, it's kind of like a survival thing, but not really. And then yeah, she basically figures out like what he looks like, and he's not a human. Like, he is a magical creature essentially, and she's like, oh my god, he's so scary. But then they fall in love, and let me tell you, Ruby Dixon never does me wrong. Yeah, and you know I gotta support her, so I just said, let me just buy this because I feel so proud that I read this book and it was like online just as like a whatever throwaway book that like, let's be honest, like how many of you guys actually read this book on that app because I said something about it? Not a lot, probably maybe one, probably none. But yeah, and now it's like a printed book that people are loving and talking about. I'm like, Miss Ruby Dixon, I'm gonna support you till the day I die, I swear. Anyway, really proud of this one. So yeah, I had to buy it, even though I had nothing to do with it being printed or anything. I just talked about it one time like 2 years ago. Anywho, so those are the books that I got. Oh, and I got these. Okay, gotta support all the local bookstores. So I got The Romance of Tristan, which is the Tristan and Isolde book, if you guys have ever watched that movie with James Franco and some girl that I actually don't know the name of. And then I got Don Quixote, because this, I have always wanted to read this, but I have never liked the translations. I was reading this and like reading how it was translated in this specific book, and I don't know, it just seemed really funny. It seems like a good time. So I'm not sure when I'll ever read this, but I've got it in case I want to. Okay, so yeah, I have an hour until dinner. I am going to use some of these products that I got from Ulta, get myself together, get changed, and get ready to go. So hopefully I'll get a little bit of reading in before that, because I do have an hour, and I basically am like ready to go. I just need to like touch up because I feel like I've been sweating-ish all day. So let's just get ready in that sense. Also, I think I'll be making a reel for Smitten Bookstore. So if you guys follow us on Instagram or TikTok, like there will be more of that footage in the reel and more of like me talking about it. But yeah, it was a fun time. Anyway, I'm gonna go. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. This is the fit, okay? Wow. I've got to put on some makeup. This is also the setup that we're doing because I don't have a tripod. A quick check-in for this book. Essentially, they have made out. They have made out after they said that they didn't want to be together physically, but like they're liars. They are lying to each other. That's the part I'm at. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to drive today because my parents got this honking rental car. I'm talking like, this is the biggest car I've ever seen. I don't know, maybe my dad will surprise me. Maybe he'll be like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and drive today. I might finish this in the car, I might not, we'll see, but we are still gonna poke around Ventura. You guys get it, this book's great. See you in a little bit. Hello. Listen, I need to talk to you guys because I finished this book. I finished Chloe Lease. I am unwell. I was crying in my bed. I'm so happy and sad at the same time. I'm in love with Vigo. I never knew that I needed a soft boy in my life, but Vigo could be the one to break my ban, break my curse. I don't know, because my God, is he not a romantic? This book was so good. Oh my God, he is soft in all the right ways. I feel like this book was also so much fun because the story was so contained to LA. It's definitely giving like the ripped bodice. Funnily enough, I'm wearing the shirt from this bookstore, but it just reminds me, like, being based off of the ripped bodice. Like, I want to talk to Chloe Lease so badly and be like, did you base Vigo's bookstore off the ripped bodice? I need to know. This story was so sweet and such well-rounded into the Bergman brothers. There wasn't like this long, homage to it. It was just kind of like a wrap-up ending on top of, this love story between these two characters. And yeah, I mean, I can't say that Chloe Lease gets into the nitty-gritty of like super emotional, in-depth stuff. Like, it does get emotional, but in the end it is a happy ever after. So you don't stress too much in these books. Like, these are definitely comfy, cozy havens, as she says in the book in her acknowledgments. It's a haven where readers can go to get that happily ever after, but also find the representation for like neurodivergence or perhaps some visible or non-visible disabilities. So yeah, I don't know, dude. I was crying. I was crying in my bed because it's bittersweet. And even now I'm still kind of like thinking about it because this whole entire series is just so beautiful. It makes me want to reread the whole thing again. Like, Chloe Lease, what did you put in these books? I swear. But yeah, in having Vigo, the romantic of the family, being the last person to kind of find his love, they say that they saved the best for last. This one was definitely one of the best. It made me want to reread Oliver's book again, which is weird, I guess, because that's his like brother. They're very close in age. Chloe Lease has gone so far with this series, and I'm just so happy for her. I think that's also why I was crying. I was just like, oh my God, I remember when these are self-pubbed books, I'm gonna cry again, so we're gonna put that book down. Anyway, 5 stars, baby. Don't even talk to me about Chloe Lease, because I'll suck you out if you have anything else to say. So, there are a couple of other books that I could possibly read for this vlog. I'm sure you just saw, you know, both of them. The first one is Blood Marked. This is definitely a book that I should have already read. Definitely, for sure, a book that I should have already read. This is the second book in the Legendborn cycle, yes, trilogy, I believe. And of course, you know, this cool sprayed edges for this paperback. Gotta support my girl Tracy. So my other option is this one, which is gonna shock you guys. I don't even know if you guys know this about me, but I am a huge Catriona Award fan. I'm her #1 fangirl, and I've only read 2 of her books. I should have already read this book already. I feel like I have suggested Catriona Award to so many people that, like, who am I being a fake fan? So I'm gonna be getting into Looking Glass Down. I was supposed to be reading this with my friend Sarah a long time ago as a buddy read, and it just didn't happen. Like, what I've learned about myself is that buddy reads are really hard for me. Like, they either need to happen as soon as they are mentioned or they will never happen. But yeah, Looking Glass Down, I believe, is also following a writer trope. Let me see. Yep, it's a writer trope. I'm telling you, I ate that up in Only and Forever, okay? Chloe Lee's, I don't know what the season is, but the season is writing, and I'm loving it. So what I can surmise from this story is that there is a writer that lives in the Northeast, and they are writing a story, I believe, about a murder, okay? I remember the premise of this book. Like, I knew it so well when I first was going to read it. Hold on, Sherman's eating a plant. Ask me what the plot is now. All I can tell you is it's about a writer in the Northeast, okay? That's all I've got. So I'm going in blind. I do love a thriller moment, and I do love not knowing what's going on until, you know, finally I know what's going on, if that makes sense. So we're going to go into this one. I think this is the one that I'm going to actually pick up for this vlog. As far as what's going on with, you know, life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, I got back from Ventura. As you can see, I slept so well. Look how crazy I look. I slept harder than a rock, okay? And me and my parents are going to be doing some work around my house. Like, I have some things that I want to get done with their help while they're here. One of those things is basically like finishing up my room. I've talked about this on our Patreon for like so long because I've been doing like room update projects on there. But yeah, so that is going to be something that we work on today. We're going to be moving some of the furniture in this room around, because Monique and I are getting like a few new shelves, and with that, like, we need to move, like, we have a huge unhaul pile. I talk about this on the internet, but we have an unhaul pile for our patrons. They get to pick a book for themselves from this stack. Unfortunately, that does not get rid of the books fast enough, you know what I mean? So we have to move that to somewhere where it can live that's not in this corner. And yeah, I think a few other things around the house. Anyway, the room update and the room redo is going to be like a patron exclusive video. So if you guys are interested in that, that's where it's going to live. But we will be working on that today. I don't know how much of this book I'm going to get done, but my thought process is I will start it at some point. That's really all I can tell you. Let's go ahead and start this book. What's going on, buddy? At this point, I truly do not even know where we left off. Okay, first of all, you might have noticed something. Oh, there's a new bookshelf in the house. It's also super messy in here because, well, I mean, there's the new bookshelf in the house. So all I can say to you guys is this. Me and my dad put this thing together, as well as another bookshelf over here in the corner. The brown bookcase you all know and love is gone. It will no longer be in any videos, okay? Now we have a nice, fresh, white bookcase that is going to be housing all of our unhauled books. That guy? That one is going to house our currently reading books, our TBRs, sponsorships that we need to open and talk about on the internet. It's just like going to be way more organized over there, as well as like this little tiny drawer here that will house something spectacular. I'm just not sure what. Me and Monique. This one, undecided, okay? The unhaul shelf, though, organized into categories, genres, books. I just haven't color coordinated it yet, because honestly, I did it at 4 a.m. because my parents just left literally this morning. They left this morning in the dead of night, and as I tried to go back to sleep, I couldn't, and that's why I look crazy right now. So what better thing than to put our books in the shelves and get them organized. Also, you'll see we have some plants now. I know everybody is gonna literally be like, can you keep these plants alive? Yes. The issue is when I go home during the holidays and they don't get watered. That's the issue. So that's what's going on. And also, I started my room redo. So now the brown bookshelf that was in this corner is going to be in my room, and I have black wallpaper up now. My room's looking cool. That's all I can say. That is all I can say. That BTS and B-roll and things like that, that's going to be part of the patron series that I'm doing on our Patreon, which is my room redo series where I'm redoing my room. That's self-explanatory. So that content won't be available in this video, but what will be available, okay, is the end of this vlog. So we essentially went to Ventura. My parents were in town. We had a great time. Went to a bookstore, Smitten, in Ventura. Shout out to you guys because that is such a cute bookstore. And then we came back to LA, and me and my parents basically just did a bunch of home projects. They just left today, like I said, and I'm left in the aftermath of like picking things up, organizing things, getting things together. So I'm gonna be finishing up my room redo / like bookshelf BTS, tour project for Patreon today, but I'm also going to be finishing Looking Glass Sound. That Miss Catriona Award, it's over there on the shelf. You can't even see it, but it's on my currently reading shelf. I don't want to get into like this being the end of the vlog, but I will say that I feel like a lot got accomplished in this vlog, and I read some really great books. Yeah, I guess I can save this for the end. But that's what I've been doing. And I think I need sleep, honestly. It's feeling a little silly goofy right now. I might go do some errands. All right, young whippersnappers, we're here to talk about some books and to wrap this vloggy vlog up, okay? It's been a minute since I've seen you, so much so that I've changed out my piercing. But, we're on to greener pastures, and what I can tell you is that I've read a few books in the time that we haven't been together. So did this defeat the purpose of the vlog that I didn't do any vlogging while I was reading the books? Guys, I'm getting back into it, okay? Be kind to me, please. Let's talk about these books. First and foremost, the last book I talked about in this vlog was Looking Glass Sound. I finished her, and let me just say that Miss Catriona Ward never disappoints. Now, is this one as good as The Last House on Needless Street? I don't want to even say as good because they're literally completely different stories. I think the coolest thing and the best thing about Catriona Ward's writing is that she sucks you into this story, she makes you care about these characters, and then at some point, everything you thought you knew is either untrue or warped or different, and it's not necessarily because it's like a traditional character POV, you can't trust the narrator type situation. It's always from something that's deep seated in the story that for me, I feel as though I always miss. This story does follow a writer, and it is a writer that is recalling the incidents of this one area close to New York and the events that follow this serial killer called the Dagger Man. It is essentially this man who kills people. Yeah, I don't really want to give too much more into that, but some creepy things start happening, and this story is fun because it does the kind of honestly, I've never read It by Stephen King, but if it's anything like the movie, it's got the account of the children and then it skips, years later into when they're adults. That's kind of what happens in this one. And I really think that Catriona did that on purpose because one, Stephen King is one of her favorite authors, but two, it gives you an account of these characters' lives, and I think when you're a kid you remember things in a certain way than you do as an adult. And when you're an adult, I feel like a lot of the magic that happened when you were a kid, or the magic that you believed in when you were a kid, it almost disappears. So for tales like this where it's this serial killer called the Dagger Man that people looked out for and they knew about, it was a tale in this one community, I feel like as an adult, you just kind of are oh yeah, that was a scary story that our parents used to tell us, da, 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 da. And you don't necessarily remember how scary that was as a kid. You know what I mean? So anyway, I don't obviously want to give too much away. This is a psychological thriller, a mystery, all those things. It was really, really good. And I'm so glad that I finally got to it and can confidently say that now I've read 3 Catriona Ward books. The next book that I actually snuck into the end of this vlog is Bound to the Shadow Prince. I literally finished Looking Glass Sound and picked this up because it was around. And I was like, man, I just need to like remember what happened, because as I was recounting kind of like the story of this, I was like, why were they in the tower for 7 years? So essentially this follows two kingdoms who sacrifice a member of their kingdom, usually royalty, actually it always is royalty, to this tower for 7 years. And for 7 years, these two people have to live together in harmony. By doing so, you know, these two countries appease the gods, and it basically accounts for like a fruitful harvest, and there's like no war, there's no crazy like weather happening, like everything is peaceful and lovely. So in this book, we have our two main characters, Nemeth and Kendra, and they are stuck in the tower for 7 years, but literally on year 2, something crazy happens, okay? So that is kind of where the story picks up and where I left off when I first read this book all those years ago. And I have to say, I'm really glad that I finished it. Now, is this the best Ruby Dixon can ever do? You know, no, definitely not. But was this an enjoyable story? Yes. I think if you're a Ruby Dixon fan, you'll really like it. And I think that the setting and kind of like the plot is very interesting. I think a lot of times Ruby does this thing with her characters where she'll take kind of like a negative connotation or like a negative stereotype of a specific type of person. So in this case, she's taking this main character, Kendra, who is very like sex positive. She's very what people traditionally would have called like loose or like a hoe. But she takes those kind of stereotypes and really just kind of flips it around upside down and like makes a strong female character. Now, does Kendra have her, you know, setbacks and her flaws? I mean, yeah. Does she want to be taken care of and not have to work another day in her life? Honestly, I'm not knocking that lifestyle, and I don't think anybody else should. If you want to be that girl, be that girl. But anyway, it's not like my favorite female archetype or anything like that, but I do think Ruby Dixon does a really good job of kind of like throwing that in your face, because there was a point in this book where I was reading this and I was like, Kendra girl, I need you to be better than what you're doing. Like, I need you to stand up for yourself. I need you to do something. And then Ruby Dixon kind of like pulled one over on me, and I was like, oh my God, I really just fell into that judgmental like mindset. That's kind of where I was. I was like, oh my God, I need to check myself. So anyway, anything else I can say? There is definitely a plot point that a lot of people will not like. And honestly, it's a plot point I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think I could just see it coming. It wasn't a surprise. So for me, it wasn't that bad. And I wasn't 20,000% invested in this book. This is definitely like what I would consider a book that I would just like, you know, read in one day, like a Kindle book. But, you know, if you can get past that, I feel like this might be the book for you, but it's not a book for everybody. I'm ending this book with a 3.54, somewhere in between there. Like, I don't necessarily want to give it a 3.5 because I feel like that's like, people like will negatively think that that's horrible, but it's not necessarily a 4. You know what I'm saying? It's not Ruby's best. I'll be honest with that. Also, I realized I didn't give you guys a rating for this. This will be a 4. Not her best, not her worst. Definitely liked it, but that plot twist, I was like, what? What the hell is this? Definitely also touches on like witchcraft and like culty type behavior. It was cool though. So that's what I've got going on with these two books. I can't believe I read both of them. I'm back in my reading game. Now I just got to get back in my like, how do I even vlog as a vlogger game. The last book that I realized I never touched on, I mentioned it at the beginning of this vlog and I never once touched on it again. Oh my Lord God, Prisoner's Throne. Okay, I am actually so excited to talk about this book with y'all because I loved this so much more than the first book in this duology. I feel like this book was so much more like The Cruel Prince, and I feel like if you're an OG Cruel Prince fan and you read the first book, like you literally read The Stolen Heir and you were like, it's just not as good. It's not as good. And to be honest, what can ever be as good as Cruel Prince? Let's just admit that right now. But this one definitely felt more like The Cruel Prince than The Stolen Heir. And I loved that. I really loved that. I feel like in The Stolen Heir, we didn't get a lot of Oak's POV, but in this one, I feel like we did. Like we got more of Oak in this one, which I really, really enjoyed because I like Oak, but I also, like, I feel like this was his book out of the duology. In the first one, it was her book. you know, it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. But this was Oak's book, okay? We really got into kind of who he is and his POV and how he was like experiencing the rest of this story and duology. Another thing I wanted to bring up with you guys that I don't think a lot of people realize when they're reading The Cruel Prince, because I always see a lot of Cruel Prince hate online. I see a lot of love, but I also see a lot of hate for The Cruel Prince. And I think the major thing that kind of blocks people from really enjoying this series, this duology, or The Cruel Prince, you know, trilogy, is that Holly Black is writing these characters from a limited, omniscient point of view. And, you know, going back to school, you know, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but just in case if you don't, limited omniscient is where you get very limited POV and in the headspace of those characters. It's very limited. You don't get their every single thought. You don't get every single moment. And you kind of have to figure it out a little bit. And I think for me, that's why I love The Cruel Prince. That's why I love these two books, even though this is not obviously TCP. It is because these characters are so well written and it's in a limited, omniscient point of view. Like, you have to figure it out yourself. And I like doing the work. Like, I like to annotate. I like doing the work in fantasy books. Like, I like figuring things out. And I think that Holly Black does that really well with these books and does that really well with her other trilogy. That being said, that's not everybody's cup of tea. And I think that's the key to, you know, recommending this series to people in the future, or like realizing why people don't like this book, because people always say it's the characters, like it's the characters, or like it's the story. And I'm like, no, The Cruel Prince is a great story. It's one of the best stories, and it's on a small scale. Like I've said before, I feel like The Cruel Prince is a cozy fantasy, and I'm gonna die on that hill, even though it does have some moments where like you don't know what's gonna go on. I do consider that to me to be a cozy fantasy, because it's a very contained world. It's a very feel-good time. And even though there are some moments where you're like, what is going on? This is horrible. It does end up in a happily ever after. So I know that's probably not a common opinion, or even an opinion people have really ever thought about. But like I said, I think a lot of the kind of displeasure with the Cruel Prince trilogy and like this duology is because it's limited, omniscient. And like, I'm okay with that, y'all. Like, I think this is a great plot. I think it's a great storyline. And one of the strongest things about Holly Black is that she can really create a world. I wanted to pick this up and be in this world for this vlog. Like, it's the whole reason why I started this vlog this week, is because I wanted to know what was going on with these characters. I hadn't seen them in a while and I missed them. I missed that. Not to go on a tangent, but that is one of the best things about reading, especially reading fantasy books. It's when you can really get into that world and miss that world when you're not there. That's why I tell y'all, like, there are so many good fantasy series out there, but the ones that are really addicting are the ones where like you love the characters and you care about what happens to them, but you're also there in that world with them. That's why this series is so good. The Cruel Prince, Zodiac Academy, Ice Planet Barbarians. There are so many fun, unique fantasy worlds out there. And I really had this epiphany when I was reading this book. I was like, of course not everybody's gonna love you, baby. You're special. They're not gonna understand you, and they don't know you like I know you. But yeah, so I think moving forward, when I recommend The Cruel Prince, or when someone asks me kind of like, do you think, you know, this is a good series, why or why not? Like, that's something I definitely need to mention, is that it's limited, omniscient. You're not gonna get everything, but it's so worth it, I think, and so much fun to be in this world. So anyway, I hope that kind of gave you a little, you know, look-see into my reading experience, even though we didn't go tat for tat with the vlog footage on this one. But yeah, I mean, I love this one. I thought this one was so much better than the first one. I feel like Holly Black really got back into her bag with this one. And I was like, girl, give me more of this, okay? Cruel Prince adjacent, let's go. I want to go into that world and I want to live there. I love fairy, okay? It's a fun time. So anyway, I'm ending this one at a 4.5. You know, it was really, really great. I loved being back in this world, loved the characters. But of course, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. But overall, a really great time, okay? So these books, and also, oh my God, this book are all of the books that I read for this vlog, for completed books, and I feel really, really good about this, guys. Like, this definitely reflects my reading style these days. I feel like it is a mix of like mostly fantasy, like a little bit of thriller, horror, and then romance. It's a good time. So these are obviously all books that I should have read already. I've now figured out that's the theme of this vlog. I had a really great time. I hope you guys got some good book recs. If you haven't already read these, guys, hopefully you're better than me and you've already been there, you've already done that. But if you haven't, maybe check these guys out. I don't know. you might have a good time. Might be a fun time for you. But yeah, that is going to conclude this vlog for this week. So thanks so much for joining me, guys. Felt good to spend some time with you and be in front of the camera. And yeah, like I said, hope you get some good book rec. If you like this video, give it a like for me. Comment down below some books that you should have probably already have read by now. What a mouthful. What did I even just say? Or some books from this year that you anticipated, but you haven't necessarily gotten to yet. I'd love to know what you're not necessarily regretting, but maybe reading in the next month or so. But yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Bum, bum, da 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 da, bum, bum, da.